Hello everybody, it is Friday afternoon and nearly all the cakes have gone in this 20th anniversary week. I have learnt how to eat a cupcake. You take the bottom off, you stick it on the top and you make it a sandwich. But I've also learned lots and lots from just talking to all your volunteers. Thank you for the welcome you've given me, and thank you for what you are doing with all your volunteers. I wish you could go on the tour with me to talk to the people at St Mungo's and the Health Bus and In Touch, but also all our own projects. And don't forget, that's why we have Discovery Days. What we call those days when we say, right, I'm going to visit another project in the FaithWorks family and try and understand what it is that's going on for them. What are the key issues for them? How do they go about doing their work? And maybe whether there are ways in which we could work together. So don't forget to book up for your Discovery Day. One of the places I couldn't go, of course, was to give Sarah Jane a cake. Because Sarah Jane, our fundraiser, works overseas. But she's gonna take a break from fundraising at the end of April, and so we're working out what to do next. But first of all, we want to say a massive thank you to Sarah Jane. Those of you who don't know, I go on a Teams meeting each week, and she's worked out which of the big sort of grant funding that we can go for, and how best for us to go for that funding. And over the last 8-9 years, I think it is, Sarah Jane's been working with us. She has helped us bring in literally hundreds of thousands of pounds. So Sarah Jane, we will seriously miss you. We're going to come up with ways of trying to replace a little bit of what you do, but we'll also try and find ways to do a proper thank you for you. So yeah, we really appreciate you, and we wish you well and Godspeed in all that you do next. And so hello from a very different place. Maybe answers on a postcard as to where I am, but I've just had a couple of hours with some of the voluntary sector leads, VCS leads if you like, across Dorset. And the whole issue is, how do we engage with the NHS? For those of you who don't know, there is something called the Integrated Care Board, which is the way that the NHS are organising themselves now to try and say it's not just about doing clinical stuff, it's about trying to do preventative activities that are going to improve people's health. And one of the, I'll share a website for you because you can see this and some of the pictures I took, but they've come up with 5 objectives which are like really sort of more cross-cutting to try and get a feel of how everybody can engage in improving people's health across Dorset. But one of them is really interesting for me because it says, how can we add 100,000 healthy life years to people of Dorset in the next 10 years? How can we help them live healthier for longer? And it doesn't say it explicitly, but on there, I'm thinking there's so much of what we do that helps with that. You know, giving someone a home, helping them to cook fresh stuff by getting hold of fresh stuff, just being a trusted space, being alongside people so they feel they belong somewhere. So many different ways of impacting that particular headline. And that's what we're saying. All the voluntary sector organisations are saying, we've got a part to play in this. But how do you organise 7,000 voluntary sector organisations to work together? So we've been talking about, actually there are existing networks. There's Access to Food Partnership, there's Homelessness Partnership, there's all these networks all around the place. Well, how can we best show to the NHS all that we are doing so that actually we draw down, it's not all about money, but we're able to draw down funding and support for some of the stuff we're doing. So it's quite strategic, but it is quite important. And there's another one like this on Monday, which is the Homewards Coalition meeting. That's going to be bringing together about 120 people across BCP to say, okay, it's not just you guys who are doing homelessness practitioner work, you know, the actual detailed stuff, but actually businesses can play a role, home base can play a role, schools can play a role, churches can play a role. We've all got a part to play. So that's coming up on Monday. Also Monday is a Smile retreat. So they're going to think of the guys as they have that retreat day on Monday. And next week, of course, it's Easter. My verse that I read in the Bible today was all about God saying, I'm going to turn parched lands into springs. And actually that's what his death and resurrection did at an absolutely massive level. But I pray it be true for you in your project with some of the people you're working with as well. Have a good week and have a happy Easter.